Hey everybody, it's Russell Matthews here, and I'm back with another Canadian benefit update for you. Now, we all know about the benefits that have been out for a while now, since October. That's the CRB, CRCB, CRSB, and even more recently, we've been talking about all these new updates that are coming down the pipeline as of this new federal government fiscal update. But there are also provincial benefits that are sort of moving forward in their progress in terms of how quickly Canadians are going to see those benefits in their accounts. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. And in terms of these provincial benefits, there have been major updates in two provinces. That's Ontario and British Columbia. And these are updates to benefits that we already knew were coming, but now there's been some new information released that either makes this benefit available or makes it very likely that it will be coming even sooner than we thought. But if you don't live in Ontario or BC, you might still want to stick around for this video so you can get a better idea of what these other provinces are getting and how it sort of stacks up and compares to the response in your province or territory. But the first major update happened in Ontario, and if you've been following along on the channel for the past little while, you'll know that a little while back, the Ontario government released their budget for the year, and inside of this budget was a $200 top-up to people who were receiving childcare benefits. That new program or benefit is called Support for Learners, and it was designed to help Canadians who have children who may have to pay a little bit more on a yearly basis for their children to be in school because of the online learning emphasis that is a necessity this year. In my last video on this topic, we talked about each and every individual province and how they can apply for the federal childcare benefit, which has actually been recently topped up. So if you're interested in learning more about how to apply for that federal benefit, or you want to know about this increase that's actually coming of $1,200 roughly a year for most Canadians, then check out the links down in the description for those videos I made in the past. But something changed with this Ontario benefit. Before, we thought that if you were already enrolled in the CCB, the Canada Childcare Benefit, that you would automatically receive this $200 in top-up funds to your Ontario Childcare Benefit. But it seems that that's now not the case and you'll have to apply separately. So let's take a look at that application page, what information's included, and how you can go about applying for this money if you're somebody who has a child. So the Ontario government just a few days ago updated this webpage that has a whole bunch of information about the Support for Learners program. It actually has the button that you click if you want to apply for it. But before we check out that page, let's scroll down here a little bit and talk about how you can be eligible for this program. So first off, if you are eligible, then you'll receive $200 for each child up to age 12 and $250 for each child or youth up to age 21 who has special needs. Now, it's nice to see this age 12 here because with the federal benefit that's just come in, that could be up to $1,200 per year per child, that is setting a maximum age limit at 6, and that's something a lot of people are frustrated with. So it's nice to see a little bit of an older age here because let's face it, the expenses for raising a kid don't just stop at age 6. They could even increase as they get into their early teens or preteens. And as we scroll down here, we get into the eligibility. So it's covering people up to age 12, up to 21. This is what we talked about if they have special needs. Here's a definition of what counts and is considered as special needs in the eyes of the government for this benefit. So you can read that if you're somebody who's looking at applying for that special needs portion of it. And also it's for anybody who's enrolled in any type of schooling. It could be publicly funded. It could be a private school, First Nations operated or federally operated school. They could be homeschooled or be taking school online right now or in person. Basically any sort of student who's out there learning right now under the age of 12 or at the age of 12 could be qualified for this benefit. And as a reminder, if you want to get to this webpage for yourself, I've got it linked down there in the description, so feel free to check in there. But we'll keep scrolling on here, and we'll go to this apply page. So this is the page where you're actually going to fill out the details for your individual child in order to receive this $200 per child. Now, the thing is that's not the most convenient. You have to fill out an additional application for each child you have. So if you have a few children, you might be taking a look at this page a couple times. I'll just zoom in here so you can see a little bit more clearly. And one interesting thing of note is that the easiest way to receive this payment is through e-transfer, and all you need is access to your internet banking account that has your email address tied to it. You can also get this money through direct deposit, but you have to go through a process to set that up if that's the route that you're going. So if you don't already have that set up, it could just be quicker to go with this e-transfer option. And now if we keep on scrolling on here, it says that the deadline to apply is January 15th, 2021. So that's good to know that this is going to be closed after that point. So make sure that you're applying before that date. And if you know of anybody who could apply for this, you can send this video their way so they make sure they don't miss this deadline. And it takes you here to a form where you can fill in all of the information about your child and just give them a little bit of information about where they're enrolled, if it's private or public, and if you have a child with an identified special need. And then you fill in information about yourself, where you live, your email address, and then you choose which option you want for your payment, whether that's e-transfer or direct deposit. And the last thing you have to do is check off this box for attestation, which is basically saying that everything that you've said in the application is true, you're not lying about it, your application isn't fraudulent, it's all good. So this is where they kind of get you with liability to make sure that you're actually being honest with the information you're giving and you actually have a child and you need to receive this benefit. Now, this updated page doesn't have any information about how quickly you can expect your payment, but because it's something as simple as e-transfer or direct deposit, I'm guessing it would be anywhere in the range of 3 to 5 days, much like the CRA's program is for the CRB or the CRCB, CRSB. All of those benefits tend to come in that timeline for these digital transfers. So that covers Ontario, and I'm sure that parents all around the country are pretty happy right now with the support that they've been given over these past couple of weeks. It seems there's been announcement after announcement of funding for people who have children. And of course, it's expensive to have a child, especially when they might be at home more and you might be struggling with childcare if you need to go to work while their schools may be closed. So this is something that I think makes a little bit of sense, but who knows if there should be money spread out to other groups, but that's a topic for another time. In terms of money that everybody could apply for and be able to receive, at least if you live in the province of British Columbia, there's been news about John Horgan's benefit that he campaigned on that was $1,000 to all families across the province. This benefit is reduced from $1,000 down to $500 if you're living alone or if you're a single person and aren't living in sort of a family situation where you need to support multiple people. Now, this $500 or $1,000 was one of John Horgan's largest campaign promises as he was running to be Premier of BC. And now that he seems to have won this election, this is one thing that people are expecting him to deliver on. But there was news that there could be delays for this benefit to actually hit people's accounts. Initially, he was saying that he had to wait until the legislation was back in session for all the people who need to vote on this decision to be able to do so. So they were wondering if they would actually be able to get this benefit out to Canadians before Christmas, which is what a lot of people were expecting. So it was looking kind of grim in terms of the likelihood of that actually happening. But now, just a couple days ago, there was a headline release that says that this could have become a little bit more likely and that they're actually targeting before Christmas for this to actually be dispersed. It seems that the BC MLAs, or members of the Legislative Assembly, are going to be able to get together next week to vote on this legislation to make it actually something that is implemented and then dispersed to the residents. So we're going to have to wait until next week to know if this process has actually gone smoothly and whether or not people in BC can expect this benefit to hit their accounts relatively soon. Now, if you're wondering about how you could apply for this benefit, I made a video about that a little while back about a previous benefit that was brought in by the BC government, and because that this infrastructure is already set up for people in BC, it's likely that this new benefit will be applied for in a very similar way. So if you want to be ready to apply for this as soon as it is available, then you're going to want to click that button down in the description, because we can check out that previous video so you can have a better idea of what's going on. But those are the two biggest updates in terms of actual cash in hand benefits that Canadians can see. Now, over the past week, we've talked a lot about this new federal budget, or rather, it's not a full budget, it's more of an economic update. They're making it very clear to everybody, hey, this isn't our actual budget. In 2021, we'll see something more detailed. But for the time being, this has a lot of information about what Canadians can expect to come down the pipeline over the next little while. But I just thought it was important to take the focus and put it on the provinces as well, because there is some responsibility there for them to help their individual residents. Now, if you're in Ontario or if you're in BC, you might be a little bit happy right now because these benefits are actually coming your way. But if you're living in one of the other provinces, I'm curious about what you think about the way your province has responded to this in terms of the benefits they've applied for. Now, we've talked about it in the past about what benefits are in each individual province. So again, link is in the description for that video if you want to be updated about that, if you haven't seen it already. But I'm curious on what you think as we've gotten a month later from that last video. Are you happy with the way that your province has responded? Or do you think that they should be going the route of Ontario with this childcare benefit, or maybe just a catch-all benefit of $1,000 like John Horgan and the NDP are doing in BC? Let me know down in the comments section. Do you think your province is doing enough or not enough? Which one? And while you're down there, make sure to hit the like button down there, because when you click that button, it spreads the video to hundreds of people who wouldn't have otherwise seen it, who could be looking for just this information. And of course, if you haven't already done so, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, because I'm constantly bringing updates like this for Canadians and their money, with the overall goal of bringing information to people as quickly and accurately as possible so that they can make the right decisions to set themselves up to live a more wealthy and financially stable future. And with all of that said, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I really hope this quick update has helped you out a little bit, and I'll see you next time.